So you guys know Minecraft? I heard it's pretty popular and has tons of stuff in it. Nearly 100 mobs, almost 1,000 blocks, 3 dimensions, 2 liquids, 4 spin-offs, a movie, hundreds of pieces of expired candy inside of Notch's mansion. Even with all that content, something still feels missing.
Who the fuck are you?
So that's what we're doing today, looking at cut concepts, mobs stuck in the files, and mobs that had their entire game blown up. And also just hope that Mojang doesn't make this video instantly outdated by adding one of these to the game, because that would suck. For me at least. So there are a couple mobs that are in the game, but can only be spawned in through commands. So you might know the giant as an overinflated vegetable, but this mob is actually one of the oldest in the game, releasing an in-dev 0.31, whatever the fuck that number is. I don't think I need to explain to you why they weren't added. They got stuck on everything, and his body was so large for his tiny hitbox, and his AI so broken, where he would just stop before being able to reach you, so you kind of have to like awkwardly just kind of run it into him for him to hit you. Great job, Notch. How's the candy? Then in 1.8 they got lobotomized because Mojang was tested by God, and they failed. But like how after Abraham killed Jesus, he rose like 4 years later, better, faster than ever, brought his son with him. Then Mojang undid all that like a couple weeks later because, well, Mao. So I guess we'll just never see from them again. Unless Japa realizes they're not pixel consistent. The Illusioners are a pretty funny case because they were added in 1.12, like never really touched again, except for like some texture changes. Then, in Minecraft Live 2019's post-show, developer Corey Shevik said this about the Illusioner.
So, I really want to add the Illusioner to the game. We've been wanting to add it for a while, but we didn't have the technical capabilities originally. So we've been working on building up those capabilities so that we can add it in. And I really, really want to see them enter raids. I think they would be perfect for raids. I think they would be a great addition to those, and planning that soon, hopefully.
Which, first hearing this, you might wonder how a team of professionals can't make mechanics seen in SNES games. But it makes more sense considering how many variables there are in Minecraft. Even something simple like a clone spawning in a cave or a hole, like what already happens with raids. Also, they could cause like many lag problems by being the nature of a mob that spawns other mobs or like entities. Also, they're like currently like omega broken. They don't work how you expect them to work, where like one of the clones the real guy. No, the hitbox just kind of hangs out invisible between all the clones. Like, who is this? Also the clipping. So it makes more sense that they were added to a more scripted game like Minecraft Dungeons, where they got this new snazzy fit. Also, there's this like official short of the Illusioner. I don't know what to make of this. The Killer Rabbit was once a really rare spawn, but was cut because according to Jeb, the Monty Python reference was overdone, which is based, because if there's one thing I hate more than people that agree with me, it's references. And the second reason is that like a first time player might encounter one of these on their first day and just get killed, quitting the game forever. Also, they got the model change in the new update that also happened recently. There's also the Outdoor Guardian Ghost on Bedrock Edition you can summon, which spawns this invisible thing. I appreciate this is just like the jump scare because that has a mod on Bedrock Edition, or it just doesn't anymore. Guess that's the reason why it's invisible now. Also, Bedrock has the data for the old villagers for some reason. You can like edit the NBT data like to like make them spawn in, but that didn't work for me. So here's a Reddit post. But hey, these guys are still in the game, and that's better than some people. Now, since Mojang is pretty open with their development, I'm not gonna go over every single piece of concept art, like Pillbug Strider, or Eye Patch Villager, John Beeman, or Sleep Paralysis Ravager, Radiation Poison to Axolotl anyone? Or like early snapshot versions of mobs? Zombie Pikmin got the Ocarina of Time Ganon treatment, or Green Humor Enderman. But so many of these are like, yep, that's a first draft, I have nothing to add here. But there was a green axolotl in Minecraft Live 2020 and 1.17's trailer. And Agnes said this about them when asked.
Yes, I'm not sure I can answer that right now, I'm sorry.
So that's interesting. I more want to talk about mobs that had very dramatic changes to them. Like the LA, who was planned for the Nether update as the Wisp, or another name of the Pixie. The Wisp also was in Minecraft Dungeons, but I don't care, man. The Wisp had very similar mechanics to the LA, but we can see in this concept art that the Wisp had many fruity flavors, like grape, lemon, strawberry. Which one's your favorite? Mine's radiation poisoned axolotl. Fish and fireflies kind of swapped trajectories, where in 2010, Notch made a post saying fish would be particles around coral blocks. Then they were added as actual mobs like 8 years later. And fireflies were announced as actual mobs, but were canned for reasonable reasons, I assure you.
But then we got great feedback from you guys in a lovely community.
What a fucked up thing to say before removing a feature. Reeks of the same energy as like your health insurance company saying, "We're sorry to inform you," before declining your cancer treatment.
Taught us that a lot of species of fireflies and firebugs that are out there are poisonous to toads and frogs. And of course we didn't want to add that into our game.
Then like 4 years after they were announced, they were added as particle effects for the firefly bush. Phantoms have a ton of bullshit, from their mouth in the mob vote art getting cut for looking too much like a Muppet, and apparently not having any gameplay connection. Whatever that means, it literally bites you. Then becoming this little cutie pie in the first snapshots. There are also plans for the Phantoms to be red, but they look too much like a Nether mob. Imagine that. But the most interesting thing here is that Minecraft sound designer, Samuel Olberg, thought that the Phantoms were going to be a much larger mob, so made sounds for a much larger mob. All those iterations to end up with the fucking Phantom. Something in this image became the breeze, I think. It's in Mojang's making of the breeze video. This might be an elaborate bit. Why do some of them have pants? The one has like 10,000 designs. But you know what they say, it takes a lot of trial and error to make a piece of art. The Warden, or just like a concept for a blind mob, was planned for the Nether update as the Blind Piglin, who would be like at the bottom of the Nether, like mining for gold. We also have this wacky waving inflatable tube man over here. He's called the Stalker. In some of his iterations, he had this weird orange thing in his chest. A part of a version of the Deep Dark where there's like these orange totems everywhere, and they give out loot. So the Stalker tries to mimic them, and if you try to get the loot from the Stalker totem, he goes boo and caves your skull in. The Stalker had a whole entourage for early designs, and oh my god, is that famous video game character Nab Nab? The Hollowed is the Warden for the Trypophobia Deep Dark, which I find interesting due to it being white. Like you're at the bottom, like darkest part of the world and you find white. Then there's the Shade, which, this isn't a Warden. Who is this? The Shade was mentioned in Minecraft Ideas Academy's podcast, with Big King Business Dogs himself. And the Shade would spawn in the Deep Dark alongside the Warden, or like whoever was the Warden at this time, being some type of support for him. How would the Shade support the Warden, you may ask? By screaming into your ears, of course. So the main gimmick of the Shade is that like it mimics the sounds of other mobs to freak you out. So it's a fucking schizophrenia simulator. Also, yeah, this is the section for mobs that never got into the game in any form. Oh god, I have to talk about the mob vote. You probably know what they are. They were held at every Minecraft Live from 2017 to 2023. Well, officially in 2017, because in 2016, Jeb ran a poll on Twitter putting llamas against alpacas. Wonder who won that one. But in 2017, the first real mob vote was held, with the winner being the monster of the night skies, who ended up becoming the Phantom. Yeah, these guys did not even have names yet. As for the other three, we have the monster of the ocean depths, who later got renamed to the Barnacle, who will drag players to the bottom of the ocean with their tongue. The Hovering Inferno, renamed to Wildfire, who can use a shield and make use of his
shockwave attack that is very dangerous.
Whatever that means.
I'm so fucking scared right now!
My favorite thing about this guy is that like everybody just kinda mass hysteria'd into believing that they spawn in nether fortresses. Because like, you know, big blaze. But Jeb here said that these guys are quote,
a random encounter in the nether.
Whatever that means. This is gonna be a very common theme throughout the mob votes. This guy got added to Minecraft Dungeons long after this vote, so cool for him. And the last is the Great Hunger, who didn't get renamed because fuck this guy, who had the unique ability to de-enchant items, which, you know, in a way was added just in the form of the grindstone. The thing about this first mob vote is that Mojang said that
Because the free ones that you don't vote for, they will be gone forever.
Do I think this is necessarily true? No. I do not think current Mojang really cares about what they said in the past. Or just forgot everything. Jeb forgot that Mojang said the whole like vertical slab limiting creativity thing until somebody on like Blue Sky told him. Then he slapped the word archived on the rejected ideas lists. Also, that's my reason for not talking about it. Sharks are back on the menu, boys! And baby dolphins. Wait, that's already... Wait, they just added that. So if like Mojang decides they wanted to add Trap Hinge over here, they're not gonna go, oh dude, Jeb said like 9 years ago that the losers will never be added. I guess we just can't do it. No, if they want to do it, they're just gonna add it. Like the other mob vote mobs, which are like, if we want to do it, we're just gonna do it. Does this mean we're gonna see them anytime soon? No, they're competing with like literally every other idea Mojang has ever had. You know how many ideas a person can have? After this vote, in 2018 and 2019, Mojang ran biome votes, with the losers being meerkats, ostriches, termites, which might be a mob or like a thing that just happens to blocks, vultures, and frogs, but those got added later. The only one we know that actually does a thing is that vultures will circle the dropped items of a dead player. Also, like Mojang said that all of these will be like guaranteed to be added later. But like check like 10 seconds ago for my opinion on that. As for the 2020 mob vote, the losers are the Moo Bloom from Minecraft Earth, who has an interaction with bees. Don't know what that interaction is though.
A random encounter in the nether.
And the Isolager from Minecraft Dungeons.
Created an ice
Thing over your head that like falls down on you. Also in Minecraft Dungeons, they stunned the shit out of you, so thank God they lost. Because if there's one thing I hate more than people that agree with me, it's stun mechanics. In 2021, the losers are the Glare, who tells you if an area is dark enough for mobs to spawn. Which might be the name is... Just use your eyes, man. And the Copper Globe, who got added later, but since their functionality changed, from pushing copper buttons to sorting chests, copper buttons are just fucking lost to time. In 2022, the losers were the Rascal, who would play hide and seek with you in a mineshaft like a fucking crackhead, who I'm pretty sure lost because in the trailer, the reward they gave was an enchanted iron pickaxe, which is like something you can find at your local CVS. And the Tough Golem, who's like a little moving statue that can hold items.
Jesus. It's alive! Oh!
Both probably better than 2 Flowers McGee over here. In 2023, the losers were the Crab, whose claw you can use to extend your block placing reach, and penguins who can make your boat faster, with the power of their fucking aura, I guess. And this was the last mob vote because, reasons. However, in 2018, there was a mob vote exclusive to China players, which was about voting in their favorite national treasure. The 5 mobs that were in this vote were the panda, who won, the Beiji dolphin, the white-lipped deer, the golden monkey, and the Chinese alligator. Which, that one really confuses me because, like, at this time in 2018, Mojang was definitely doing, like, the no animals can harm you thing. Especially not endangered ones like the Chinese alligator. Heck, on the archived rejected ideas lists, alligators are there. But, wait a minute. Apparently this vote just didn't matter. And the panda would've gotten in the game anyway. Aubrey Norris, former Mojang head community manager, said in a now deleted tweet that the vote didn't have any significance on the panda being added to the game. Now, I don't know if that tweet is real because it's deleted, but even without the tweet, just use common sense. The vote ended like 10 days before Minecon that year, and it's not like the normal votes where they have a little animation of the winner dancing or something. No, they had like actual, like, somewhat finished game footage with the sound effects they got from real pandas in China. Yeah, so this vote did not matter. Imagine they did this with like a real mob vote. The ally wins, but the glare just shows up anyway. Also in 2018, there was a cat vote, seeing whose cat will be put into Minecraft. The winner being Joey, who was the cat of Minecraft YouTuber Good Times with Scar, who unfortunately passed away on January 4th, 2024. And the losers of this vote being the cats Zach and Coco. Anyways, are we done with the mob vote? Okay, let's talk about old Minecraft. The Piglin Bodyguard was a cut mob that, oh my god, put something on! The kids are watching! Is that you hire it and you just give it tools and armors to protect you, like a bodyguard. But I mean, it kinda got in the game in the form of two different mobs, like the Piglin being the Pigman, and the Iron Golem being the bodyguard. Fun fact! The creator of the Piglin Bodyguard, Mike Lee, got this cool bacon cape for suggesting the mob. Then Notch took it away because people kept on asking Notch for their own capes. Lol. The Red Dragon is a thing that kinda just gets mentioned every 10 years and just disappears. Notch said after the Ender Dragon that they were working on smaller, weaker dragons that could land and can't break blocks. Also, it's red, that's important info. Then the Red Dragon kinda entered this weird limbo state, where the devs said that they're not currently working on it, but one day they'll get added. But I don't know, man, it's been like 10 years since one of those statements, and bro is still not here. That doesn't look like a Minecraft. Rana's probably the most famous out of these old Minecraft cut mobs. Notable for having this fuck-ass art style. She was made by Doc, who made this awful logo. But along with her, he also made Steve in this art style, Black Steve. You know what, I'm just not gonna question it. What is Code Monkeys? Why are you bringing it up? There's a character called Black Steve in it? Okay. What do you mean that Black Steve was the inspiration for Steve's name? Sorry dude, didn't know you were like that. And Beast Boy from comics. Now if you want even less Minecraft, these guys are straight up from Quake 3. They are used by Notch for testing the model type that these fucks would later use. We also have this guy, the builder, who, yeah, does that. Who was used and probably solely exists for this Pocket Edition announcement.
What is my purpose?
Anyways, time for the first ever mob added to Minecraft. Behold! This might look like Steve just flailing his arms around, because it is. But the interesting thing about Steve is that he was created for an earlier project by Notch, before Minecraft, called Zombie Town. Look at he go. Wow, these guys never got into a full release of the game. Some might say that's better than being part of a released game, and that game becomes lost media. Who are the some? Nobody has ever said this, but what possible conversation could one have where this is the conclusion of Minecraft Earth might be the game with the most poorly timed release date of all time. Oh boy, let's make a game about going outside in late 2019. Oh no, here it comes! A lot of mobs in this game are just uninteresting variants of mobs in regular Minecraft. The passive ones you get from tapables, which are like loot chests you find around the world, or build plates, which are like plots of land. And hostile mobs are a part of adventures. So I'm only going to be talking about the ones I find interesting. The Moo Boom is basically the mascot of Minecraft Earth, but we already talked about them in the mob vote, so...
Get me his non-union Mexican equivalent!
The Moolip is another Moo Bloom, but interestingly, it had a precursor called the Pink Moo Bloom, who used a darker pink and had a different flower. Really interesting there. Along with the Moo Bloom, the Muddy Pig and Jolly Llama showed up in real life. That's nuts. I didn't know they were real. For the Mob in the Park event, hosted in 3 parks around the world, like 1 month after the game's release. As for other guys, how about this ray of sunshine? We also have the Bone Spider and Skeleton Wolf, which reminds me of my favorite Minecraft YouTuber, Fink Noodles.
Whoa, I've had dreams of going to school in my underwear.
As well, Minecraft Earth has some lost mobs of its own. The Teacup Pig, the Entangled Sheep, and the zombie-like rabbit were all shown in the image they used for the farewell message for the game. Which just kind of shows how rushed the killing of this game must have been, where they put an image with unreleased content in it, or what a fucked up thing to do, showing a player base what could have been before just killing it all. There is some concept art of cut mob variants released by some devs of the game, like the Magma Cow, Violet Rabbit, and the Hyper Rabbit. We also have these wonderful pieces of fridge art right here, with a Terrace Cow, a fish wearing pants, I think, whatever the hell this thing is meant to be, and literally just Wooloo from Pokemon. I think that's just a piece of art. I don't think that was meant to be in the game. You also have this book here called The World of Minecraft, that some other concept art in this video was used to find, which contains some more boring mob variants. And a llama so fucking raw it gives you fucking salmonella just by looking at it. But when the Minecraft Earth exploded, 1 escape pod was found, containing 1 survivor, who was the glow squid. Now that we're done with Minecraft Earth, we can now move on to this. Never mind, oh god damn it. So since Telltale died, there is no official way to play Minecraft Story Mode 1 and 2, unless it's like a physical copy. Which isn't that rare. I've seen like 2 at like Walmart or something. Which is kind of like those cars with the hentai decals on them. You think they're super rare, right? But every town at least has 1. You get what I'm saying? You get? So anyways, the first season had the Witherstorm, which is like the only thing people remember from this game. And it had this kick-ass theme song. We also got the Eversource, flies, computer, the large chicken zombie small thing from the beginning of the game. In the files of the game, Gabriel was meant to have this horse. Remember when Jeff Keighley said Jason Momoa was gonna play Gabriel in the Minecraft movie? But why did he? Jeff Keighley lied to us! And in the second season, we got some of these Prismarine guys, some of these Ice guys, who both had a cut Creeper variant. The Prison guys, which had a cut Witch and Baby Zombie variants. And these large fellas. Also, whatever the deal with this guy is, it's never explained, but my theory is that this is what happens to you if you have like a bee allergy and get like stung. Because, you know, like the bees in Minecraft are really big. Also, apparently in the Netflix version of Minecraft Story Mode, Ruben was meant to survive. You guys like Ruben, right? This doesn't fit with the video at all, but like, in the third D&D Monster Compendium, there is the Wolf of the Overworld. You could have chosen any other mob from all of Minecraft, and they decided to make whatever the fuck the Wolf of the Overworld is. Also, there's this guy called Herobrine that's like been removed like 50 times. I don't know what the deal with him is.
What?